I have talked to you guys a lot in the past about how we often lose power here in Michigan. And that is not just me at my house out here in the woods, that is all over the state. It is incredibly common for the grid to go down for multiple hours or even days at a time. But what if the grid went down and you were still able to power your house with no noise, no gas, no generator? Well, that's where the Anker SOLIX C2000 Gen 2 comes into play. This customizable and expandable battery is not only portable, it's also extremely powerful. If you're interested, make sure you use the link down below for exclusive discounts, but I recently used the C2000 to back up my mom's entire home. So check this out. Now that we've switched over to the Anker SOLIX C2000, the entire house is being powered by this battery. Now at this point, we are not doing any energy conservation. So you can see we're using 276 watts. Everything in the house is running as normal outside of bigger breakers like the dryer or the stove. Those are not currently running. But there's tons of lights on in the house. There's a TV, a computer is on. Even though my mom lives in a downtown area, she often experiences power outages that last for several hours at a time. Now over at her house, it's not quite as bad as we have it here, but being without power for just a few hours is not just uncomfortable and inconvenient. In the winter, it can actually be dangerous. Michigan has seen an increase in power outages in recent years, with the average customer experiencing several hours of power loss annually. At my house, it is way above average. We lose power all the time, but even at my mom's house in a downtown area, she's losing power several times a year, and it has just become unacceptable. Not only does she need power for her sump pump to run, think about all the valuable food and groceries that she loses from her fridge and freezer every time the power is out for more than a few hours. Well, we recently installed the Anker SOLIX C2000 Gen 2 as a backup solution for those times my mom is out of power. The C2000 has a lot going for it. Not only is it a great price, it has a lot of power output, and it also has the world's lowest power consumption at just 9 watts on standby. On top of that, the LFP battery will last you over 4,000 life cycles and retain an 80% capacity. And with a warranty of 5 years, the Anker SOLIX C2000 will leave you with no worries. Now, even though the Anker SOLIX C2000 is small and portable, it is very powerful. It has a rated power output of 2,400 watts with a surge boost of 3,000 watts. The C2000 can handle a peak power of 4,000 watts with a switchover time of less than 10 milliseconds for instant failover during outages. All right, so check this out. Not only can the Anker C2000 provide a ton of power, its peak power is huge as well. I currently have my air compressor, my pancake air compressor plugged in. You're not going to be able to hear me in a second, but I'm going to turn this on. It's going to provide the power, and I'm going to fill up my tires. Check it out. Just turn that off so you can hear me, but all of that provided by the C2000. You can see it get up to 1.2 kilowatts, cut off right there. I could turn it back on. Let's make sure my screen doesn't, oh yeah, let's keep it on that screen and turn this back on. Now, when the power is available, there are a ton of different ways that you can charge up the C2000 to get it prepared. And even when the grid is down, it has some ways that you can charge it without any grid power as well. You can do a combined AC and solar charge for up to 2,600 watts of input. If you're just plugging into the wall, you can get 1,800 watts of input. And if the grid is down, you could use either a gas generator for 1,800 watts of input, or you can charge the battery via solar at up to 800 watts. If you need more ways to charge the C2000, you can even just plug it into your car's 12-volt output and charge it that way. It only takes about 45 minutes to reach an 80% charge, with a 100% full charge taking under an hour. When setting up the battery at my mom's house, I noticed she actually had a small window right there by where we were installing the C2000. So if it came to that, we could hook up some solar panels, stick them out the window if we were in a pinch, and have that thing charging even with no grid. Even at half the solar charging capacity of 400 watts, that would be more than enough to power the entire base load of my mom's house while also charging up the battery so it could continue to run at night. In a power outage situation, you'll probably want to try to conserve some power, so you would want to get your power usage as low as possible. So we're probably not going to be running the AC or anything like that, but having the fridge charged, being able to use your lights, turn on a TV, even use your computer, having your Wi-Fi running is a great experience when the grid is down and you'd otherwise have no electricity at all. Now, how we are powering the entire house from this small battery is the TT30 port. Now, the main use case for this is an RV, and this battery would be a great choice to power your entire RV. Again, throw some solar panels outside and you could have seemingly unlimited power. Now, I do want to mention if you need more power, especially for whole home backup, you might want to look at something like the Anker SOLIX F3800. That is a product we've used in the past that has more expandability, so it can power a lot more things, including charging your car, running air conditioning, and a lot of bigger loads for a longer amount of time. But for my use case of the C2000, having some backup energy at my mom's house so she can easily switch over, be able to use everything in her house, have her fridge powered, the C2000 has it covered. One of my favorite features of the C2000 is the low noise level. No noisy gas generators. If you're under 600 watt load, there is no noise. The fan is off. It doesn't even need to run. At full load, the fan is still under 55 decibels, so incredibly quiet for a backup power solution. With what we had running in the house, we were getting anywhere from 15 to 20 hours of backup, and this was before we were careful to unplug or not use certain things. The house had tons of lights on, the Wi-Fi router, the computer were plugged in, the TV was plugged in, all of these things that we could power down if we needed to extend that outage time, but the C2000 had no problem powering everything. Now, opposed to powering my mom's entire house, I did test the C2000 at home, just plugging in my refrigerator in case there was an outage and I wanted to just save the food and maybe charge a couple of phones or something. I wanted to see how long it would last. Now, I actually could not keep it plugged in long enough because it was going to take so long to run down this battery on the refrigerator, but it looked like the C2000 was going to be able to power our fridge for multiple days, which is incredibly impressive. Think about having even 1 to 2 power outages per year. If you plug your fridge into the C2000 to save all of that valuable food in there, this battery pays for itself in no time. I remember being a kid, Michigan has always been like this. There's always been power outages, and those times when it just lasted a little too long, it doesn't take long, and you had to throw away everything in the fridge and freezer. It was devastating throwing away all that food, and it's even worse today with how expensive food is. So having the C2000 ready to go as a backup solution in these emergencies is priceless. On top of that, the C2000 has an amazing app that you can control over Bluetooth or even Wi-Fi. If you're away from home, you can check on your battery, see how much time it has left, change settings from anywhere. If you want, you can schedule off-peak charging to save on energy bills, and then use the C2000 to power whatever you want while electricity is expensive. Another way this battery can be used to save money. Storm Guard is another built-in feature that auto charges before forecasted storms. This way, if a storm is rolling in, the C2000 will be ready whether you lose power or not. You don't have to think about it, you just set it up in the app and the battery will be ready every time. With the multiple recharge options and getting back to 80% in just 45 minutes, this battery is fastest in its class. The C2000 is incredibly versatile for RV trips, emergency backup, remote work, having power wherever you want to go. It is incredibly portable. At only about 40 pounds and the size of a small microwave, it is very easy to move it wherever you need it. On top of that, having the optional extension battery makes it so you don't spend too much on too big of a battery that you don't need, but if you do need extra capacity, it's always there ready if you want to add it at a later time. Built into the Anker C2000 are up to 10 versatile ports for charging whatever you need, even if you don't have it as a whole home backup solution. There are 5 AC outlets, 2 140 watt USB-C ports, 1 15 watt USB-C port, 1 12 watt USB-A port, and 1 car auxiliary outlet. With the 140 watt USB-C ports that are built into the front, you can charge up a laptop or smartphone at full speed. I am very happy to know that with the Anker C2000 Gen 2, my mom can go from being in a power outage with no power to having full power in her home again in about 30 seconds with the C2000. In the winter, she'll be able to run her heat, she'll be able to keep all the food in her fridge from spoiling, and she can just be more comfortable in those times when the grid goes down, which in Michigan happens way too often. And hey, if she decides to get an RV and go do some camping, she can take the Anker C2000 with her and power up her whole RV as well. Make sure to check out that link down below for exclusive discounts on the Anker C2000 Gen 2, and you will see me in the next video.